Alright, this video I want to share my vision of what it means when I say as real as it gets. That's a slogan that the UFC uses to promote their cage fighting. And what I say is that is, it's not as real as it gets if you're just watching. Like in order to enter into the UFC, you can't just go as you please. Everybody is just watching people fight in a cage. That's not real fighting, not even close, because you're just watching. You're not involved in or engaged in any way other than just a visual. So that's like somebody who's watching pornography and saying that's as real as it gets, as far as sex is concerned. Like, how could that be? You're not even engaged yourself. You're not in it. You're not with the woman. You're not making love to her. You're just watching. That's like somebody who's witnessing an armed robbery and then a gun battle between the criminals or the robbers and the police, and saying that's as real as it gets. That's real because you're just watching them being engaged in a shootout, but you're not actually engaged yourself. As real as it gets is pretty much what I'm offering here, as far as the people that want to come by and train here, is actually getting engaged and sparring yourself. And in the type of sparring that we do here, I call it safe sparring. There's no contact, touch contact, light contact, medium contact, and hard contact. Hard contact is pretty much a real fight. Anything goes, do whatever you want, no rules. Medium contact is just a step below that, just being a little bit more attentive and careful of where you hit the body and the way, that you whether or not you ball up your fist when you go for their face and things like that, and whether or not you're going to intentionally break their bones and really hurt them, badly. But basically, that's the type of sparring that I offer here, and to me, that's as real as it gets, because it's not like you're on the streets fighting a stranger and you're fighting for your life and you're gonna die. I mean, it's you coming in here and you're sparring from a martial artist standpoint, from a scientific standpoint, from an intelligent standpoint, and you're sparring with somebody else who's also skilled at what he does, and you guys are engaging in a very strategic method of fighting strategy. It's not unscientific like what you'd find on the streets. It's very scientific, and it is controlled, and you allow the person the ability to surrender if they so choose. They could surrender on a tap out, or they could surrender just by saying that stop, or they could surrender by just basically just through submission, telling you that they can't go any longer, and that's a respectful way to test out your abilities, as a martial artist. And that's as real as it gets, because you're actually getting involved yourself. You're going in there and you're trying to execute the techniques that you think actually work or don't work, rather than just sitting at home watching videos, watching the TV, and watching other people box or cage fight or Thai box or kickbox or whatever the case may be. You're not just watching, you're actually engaged and you're involved. And that's the type of training that I allow over here, and that's the type of training that I promote, is for people to actually get involved themselves, rather than talking about other people doing it. Do it yourself. See what you could do. See if you could get a certain technique to work, and getting involved. And like I said, it's not the real on the streets fighting life or death, but it's close to it, because you get to control how intense you want the sparring session to go. It could go very intense, or it could go, just a little bit less intense, but it's in your control, and you may go home with bumps and bruises, and maybe even some broken bones, or a missing tooth, or a broken jaw. I mean, it's up to you how hard you want to go. And when you go home with these injuries and with this pain in your body, and you watch yourself in the video and see how you did, how you performed, that is as real as it gets. And And that's the real way that I feel that martial artists train. You know, they train, they get in there and they do it. You know, and you set your own rules. You set your own standards. You don't let somebody else do it for you. And that's the type of training that I offer here, and that's the type of training that I say that real martial artists engage in. They don't just watch, they do.